Senegalese government has officially scrapped the R&B singer Akon's dream of building a futuristic smart city along the Atlantic coast.
Take a deep breath and imagine the promise of a futuristic African utopia rising from the soil of Senegal, a city powered by renewable energy, run on cryptocurrency, and crowned by gleaming skyscrapers straight out of a Marvel movie. Akon City, a bold billion-dollar dream that once captured the hopes of an entire generation across the African continent. Today, that dream has crumbled into silence. What remains is an unfinished reception building, empty fields, and a bitter reminder of how even the brightest stars can cast long shadows. Before we dive into this powerful issue, take a moment to like this video. When you do, it helps the YouTube algorithm recommend it to more people who need to hear this story, people who care about Africa, truth, account. The news has now been confirmed. Akon City is officially dead. Announced in 2018 by global music icon Akon, born Alioune Badara Thiam, the $6 billion project was supposed to be a beacon of African pride, innovation, and self-reliance. The singer, who spent part of his childhood in Senegal, envisioned a city unlike any other on the continent, a city that would reflect the strength of Black identity, powered by futuristic architecture and economic independence. It was to be built in Mbodien, about 100 kilometers south of Dakar, on 800 hectares of land along Senegal's pristine Atlantic coastline. But now, according to Senegalese officials, it's over. Serigne Mamadou Mboup, head of SAPCO, the state tourism development agency, told reporter plainly, "The Akon City project no longer exists." After years of delay, minimal progress on the ground, and broken promises to local communities, the Senegalese government has acknowledged what many had long suspected. The project was a vision too far removed from reality. The original concept had promised everything. Akon City was supposed to be an eco-friendly metropolis running entirely on renewable energy. Phase 1 alone was to include a hospital, shopping mall, school, police station, waste center, and solar plant, all to be completed by the end of 2023. The city would run on its own digital currency, Akoin, replacing the traditional CFA franc, which is regulated by the Central Bank of West African states. But this ambition quickly collided with legal barriers and economic skepticism. Critics warned from the start that Akoin would face difficulties as a primary payment method in Senegal. Central banks around the world have expressed consistent opposition to cryptocurrencies, particularly in countries where monetary sovereignty is tightly regulated. And while the blockchain buzz captured imaginations globally, in Senegal, it remained mostly a concept with no tangible benefit for the communities it was meant to uplift. Today, the site in Mbodien remains barren. No towers, no streets, no electricity, nothing but dust and silence, punctuated by the solitary skeleton of a reception building left half complete. "We were promised jobs and development," said one local resident in frustration. "Instead, nothing has changed." Indeed, for the people of Mbodien, Akon City was not just about technology and grandeur. It was about opportunity. It was about hope. In a region where youth unemployment is a pressing concern and economic opportunity remains limited, the project offered a powerful narrative of African ingenuity and transformation. That narrative has now been shattered. Akon himself has taken some responsibility. In a recent interview, he admitted that the Akoin cryptocurrency wasn't being managed properly. Investors who placed their trust and money into the project have reportedly seen little to no return. Years of financial mismanagement, legal hurdles, and apparent lack of clear governance have eroded both confidence and capital. But perhaps the most painful part of this collapse is what it symbolizes. In an era where Africa's youth are hungry for bold leadership, self-reliance, and forward-thinking solutions, Akon City stood out as a pan-African dream. one that dared to be different. Its designs, created by 10 design architecture, echoed the sweeping beauty of Wakanda, the fictional African supernation from Marvel's Black Panther. It was not just a city, it was a statement. It said, "We can build for ourselves." It said, "We don't need the West to define our future." It said, "Africa can rise." That dream resonated from Dakar to Dar es Salaam, from Accra to Addis Ababa. Young Africans saw themselves reflected in the vision of Akon City, not as migrants seeking opportunities abroad, but as builders of a new civilization at home. Now, with the dust settling, the Senegalese government is working on what they describe as a more realistic development project for the same land in Mbodien. According to SAPCO, an agreement has been reached between Akon and the state to pivot toward a plan that aligns better with the country's infrastructure capabilities and economic context. Details are still vague, but officials have made it clear. The skyscrapers, solar-powered floating districts, and crypto utopia once promised will not materialize. Still, questions remain. How was such an ambitious plan allowed to go so far with so little oversight? Why was the project not reevaluated earlier, when it became clear that funding and logistics were falling apart? And most critically, what does this mean for other dreams like it across the continent? The cancellation of Akon City should not be dismissed as just another celebrity failure. It must be seen in the broader context of Africa's developmental ambitions. From Kenya's Konza Technopolis to Nigeria's Echo Atlantic, similar mega projects have faced their own delays, controversies, or abrupt halts. While these initiatives are often announced with great fanfare, backed by stunning renderings and visionary rhetoric, the realities of financing, governance, and long-term sustainability often paint a very different picture. Akon City's demise is also a cautionary tale for leaders, celebrities, and investors alike. Africa does not need fantasies. It needs plans. It needs execution, not just inspiration. It needs accountability, not just ambition. Our people do not need monuments to ego. They need schools, hospitals, roads, clean water, and affordable homes. They need opportunities rooted in the soil, not in the clouds. And yet, we must not become cynics. The dream of African self-determination is still alive. Akon's failure is not the death of that dream. It is a reminder that dreams must be built on foundations, not fantasies. For Akon, this may mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The artist-turned-entrepreneur says he is now focused on a more realistic initiative with the government. Whether that means scaled-down housing projects, renewable energy programs, or tourism-based infrastructure remains to be seen. What matters now is that this next phase delivers real results for the people on the ground, not just headlines and hype. As the 2026 Youth Olympic Games approach, Senegal has an opportunity to showcase itself on the global stage. The land around Mbodien, once meant to house Wakanda-inspired skyscrapers, could still serve a valuable purpose, but only if the project that replaces Akon City learns from its predecessor's mistakes. On The Voice of Africa, we tell the stories that matter to our people. This is not just a report about a failed celebrity project. It is a story about accountability, vision, and the future of development in Africa. It is a wake-up call for anyone who thinks our continent is a blank canvas for grand ideas without local grounding. To every young African watching this, your dreams are valid. But remember, dreaming is only the beginning. Building takes time, strategy, community, and above all, truth. As we reflect on Akon City, let us commit ourselves to building real cities, real institutions, and real futures rooted in justice and powered by the people. The Voice of Africa will be watching. Will you?